Have you ever really thought about what goes on inside a factory? We picture these super clean, perfectly oiled machines, but the reality? It can be, well, chaotic. There's a ton of hidden challenges. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at a system called CODI MES, which is all about turning that chaos into control. Okay, so let's set the scene. Imagine a factory that's running without, a central nervous system. No brain connecting everything. What does that look like? Well, it means you're making huge decisions today based on data that's already old. It means machines just stop out of nowhere. And maybe the worst part? All that critical knowledge, the stuff that makes things work, it literally walks out the door when an experienced operator clocks out for the day. So I have to ask, is your factory flying blind? It sounds dramatic, I know, but it's a really important question. Because without that live, real-time data, that connection between the front office and the actual machines, you're pretty much just guessing. You're constantly putting out fires instead of stopping them before they even start. And this is what happens when you're flying blind, right? You get these huge real-world problems. Machines go down unexpectedly, and boom, your whole production schedule is a mess. You're creating tons of scrap and having to rework parts, which just burns through money. And you've got this nagging feeling. You just can't see what's actually happening on the floor. You don't know where the real problems are hiding. Honestly, this is the stuff that keeps managers staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. All right, so how do we fix this? How do you get out of that chaotic mess? Well, you give the factory a digital brain. And that's exactly what a manufacturing execution system, or MES, is. Now, don't think of an MES as just some other software program you have to install. It's so much more than that. It's really the crucial bridge between the big picture business plan and what's physically happening on the factory floor, right now. It takes the what we need to do from the top and translates it into the how we're going to do it for the machines, all in real time. So let's break down how that information actually flows. Think of your ERP system as the CEO's office. It sets the big goals, right? We need to make this many widgets this month. Then, the MES is like the super efficient operations manager. It takes those big goals, breaks them down, and gives very specific live instructions to the factory floor. The machines on the floor are the workers, doing the actual job. But here's the magic. As they work, they're constantly sending data back up through the MES, which then reports back to the CEO. It's a perfect closed loop of information. No more guessing. Okay, so we get what an MES does in general. Now, let's get specific and look at a really powerful one, the CODI system. It's built on what they call 3 pillars of excellence, and each one is designed to tackle one of those huge manufacturing challenges we talked about. The first pillar is all about quality, and CODI's philosophy here is called qualidade na fonte, which means quality at the source. This is a huge mindset shift. The idea isn't to have inspectors at the end of the line trying to catch mistakes. No, the goal is to build quality into every single step so that the mistakes just don't happen to begin with. It's about prevention, not inspection. So how do they actually do that? Well, take the CEP module. It uses statistics to watch your production process in real time. The best analogy I can think of is the lane assist feature in a modern car. It doesn't scream at you after you've already veered into the other lane. It gives you a gentle nudge the very second you start to drift. That's what this does. It catches tiny, tiny variations before they ever have a chance to become a big, costly defect. And then you've got the checklist module, which is like a super strict digital co-pilot. It makes absolutely sure that every single safety and quality check gets done and done right before the machine is even allowed to move on to the next step. All right, pillar number 2, efficiency. This one is driven by a really cool concept called gestão do conhecimento no chão de fábrica, or knowledge management on the factory floor. Think about it. So much of what makes a factory run well is in the heads of a few experienced operators. It's not written down anywhere. This pillar is all about capturing that priceless knowledge and making it part of the system. And CODI makes this really tangible with a couple of modules. First, there's chronoanalysis. This thing finally gives you the real answer to the question, how long does this job actually take? No more guesstimates with a clipboard and a stopwatch. You get hard data, which lets you find your hidden bottlenecks, and just as important, price your products correctly. Then there's the Diario de Bordo, which is a digital logbook for each machine. This one is huge. Imagine your best operator on the night shift makes a tiny, crucial adjustment to a machine. Without this log, that info is gone when he leaves. The morning shift comes in, doesn't know about the change, and poof, you've just made a whole batch of expensive scrap. This logbook creates a permanent memory for every single machine.
And that brings us to the third and final pillar, planning. This is all built around the idea of the fabrica dynamica, the dynamic factory. Because let's be real, a factory floor is anything but static. It's constantly changing. A machine goes down, a rush order comes in, stuff happens every single minute. A dynamic factory is one that can roll with those punches and adapt on the fly.
And this is where you really feel in control. The sequencing module, called secuenciamiento, is amazing. It gives your planners this visual drag-and-drop schedule of the whole factory. So when that key machine suddenly goes down, you're not panicking. You're just dragging, dropping, and rescheduling everything in a matter of seconds. And paired with that is the maintenance module, manutención, which helps you stop those breakdowns from even happening. It's about shifting from, oh no, it broke, to let's service this before it has a chance to break. So let's put it all together. You have quality baked into the process, you're capturing all this hidden knowledge for efficiency, and you're planning dynamically. What happens when you combine all three of those powerful ideas? The result is a completely transparent factory. And really, this is the holy grail, the fábrica transparente, or transparent factory. It's a place where there are no secrets, no hidden problems. Data is just flowing. And everyone, from the person running the machine all the way up to the CEO, is looking at the exact same, up-to-the-second information. Everyone's on the same page.
And there's no better picture of this transparency than the OEE dashboard. OEE stands for Overall Equipment Effectiveness, and it's basically the gold standard for measuring how well you're doing in manufacturing. It can be a kind of complicated number to figure out, but CODI just makes it simple. It puts it up on a screen with easy-to-read colors so anybody can walk by and see in a single glance how they're doing on availability, performance, and quality. But here's the thing. This transparency isn't trapped inside the factory. COD blows the walls right off with a concept they call gestion sin fronteras. That's management without borders.
How? Through the Gesture mobile module. This is a game changer. Suddenly, managers aren't chained to a desk in an office. They could be anywhere. At home, at another site, on the other side of the world, and they can see exactly what's happening. They get instant alerts on their phone if something's wrong, and they can make smart data-driven decisions right then and there. Now that is real agility.
So you can see how this solves a ton of today's problems, but it's actually much bigger than that. This is about future-proofing your factory. It's about building a foundation that's ready for whatever comes next.
Because the CODI system isn't just one thing. It's a whole ecosystem. We're talking more than 23 different modules that all work together. This makes it incredibly flexible. You can start small, just tackle your biggest pain point right now. And then, as your business grows and your needs change, the system grows right along with you. And this right here, this is where it gets really exciting, really forward-looking. See, the future of manufacturing isn't just about reacting faster. It's about being proactive. And that's where CODI's AI, named Bibiana, steps in. The difference is simple, but it's absolutely profound. Old school reports tell you what went wrong yesterday. Bibiana tells you what you should do right now to succeed. That just says it all, doesn't it? The goal is to stop looking in the rearview mirror. Bibiana is like having a brilliant strategic analyst on your team 24/7. It sifts through these mountains of data and doesn't just give you more charts to look at. It gives you clear, actionable recommendations. It's about turning all that raw information into wisdom and then turning that wisdom into your next best move. So let's just end with this thought. Just take a second and imagine your factory. But imagine it with no more hidden problems. Imagine every single decision, from the top floor to the shop floor, is backed by perfect real-time data. Imagine you stop reacting to what happened last week and start actively creating a smarter, more efficient, and way more profitable future. What could you really achieve with that kind of power?